Hello everyone, my name is Rochelle Innocent and I'm the founder and CEO of Project Purpose. Welcome to our channel. Our community is focused on fostering the intellectual and character development in children. We do this through our parent-child workshops that are focused on 4 themes: autonomy, self-efficacy, compassion, and self-concept, in order to cultivate grit, perseverance, and resilience in each child. And we are so thrilled to be offering one of the first of its kind digital, virtual, and continuous learning environments, enabling parents and children to connect from all around the world. At Project Purpose, our overarching mandate is to renew and rebuild family, community, and relationships. Our different social media platforms provide us with an opportunity to have discussions and to create space for all topics that relate to family, community, and relationships with ourselves as well as with others, with a primary focus on mental health and education. More precisely, the ways that the institutions of mental health and education play a role and have played a role in our societies at large. These discussions and debates provide us with an opportunity to think critically about what needs to change within these structures for us to live up to our bold slogan: support, protect, and empower each child through youth-focused development, better known as leadership in juvenescence. We recognize that in valuing our children's leadership potential, this also translates as recreating and co-creating environments, both socially and politically, that will enable our children to thrive. For those of you who are particularly keen on the topic, we also write thought pieces every other Sunday. We actually are dropping a thought piece this upcoming Sunday, so definitely be sure to meander over to the website and check out our online content. Now, if it is the case that you are looking for a listening alternative, well, we're available wherever podcasts are playing, and we've provided you with access to a few links down below. Now, as is the convention, be sure to subscribe, hit that post notification bell so that you are aware of every time we post. And of course, if you like our conversations and you want to keep them going, like, comment, and share this segment. Let's get into it. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another segment here on Project Purpose. For those of you who are new, we cover topics that relate to mental health, mental wellness, and education on a week-by-week basis. And today's topic of discussion is mental wellness. And on the topic of mental wellness this week, we're going to be talking about the power that future planning has on our well-being. And this is October, so if you've been following me, that I've been on this platform, October is when I start my after-action review. I start to think about what I've accomplished this year, what things I want to accomplish for next year, and I start to really build out like what I was able to do, what traction I was able to make, and I celebrate myself in October. And this is how I set the groundwork to start to establish my goals and build a theme for the upcoming year. And why do I think this is good for our well-being? This is good for our well-being because while being in the present is so important, part of being in the present also involves acknowledging what you accomplished in the past, celebrating the things you've done in the past, because oftentimes we discount our accomplishments and we overvalue the things that we fell short in. So we put a lot more emphasis, a lot more of our mental space is spent on the things that we didn't accomplish, the things that we strived for but we weren't able to gain access to, or the things that we're still waiting on. And that can be really just hard on our well-being. It can be hard to always just focus our attention on the areas where we feel like, hey, that's an opportunity, or we feel like we're lacking there, we feel like we didn't make the traction or attain the goal or the objective that we're looking for. So how I create balance and equilibrium, and I do it throughout the year, but I do it very intensely in October as I start to celebrate my big wins, the wins that went under the radar, that I didn't really think about when they took place, but now in hindsight, I can really take the time to give myself gratitude, celebrate myself, and to also build a trajectory for some of those wins if they can build into some sort of momentum, into a future plan moving forward. So that's what October is about, and it's so good for you to, I think, not ruminate in the past in a way where you're beating yourself up for the things that you didn't do, but celebrate yourself in the past accomplishments or your past achievements and give yourself that well-deserved pat on the back. I don't really care for pat on the backs from like other people, but I think that because I drive so hard and because I want to gain and achieve so much, I need to take the opportunity to celebrate what I've already gained, what I've already achieved, so that I'm not operating from a place of scarcity. I want to operate from a place of abundance achievements. And how we do that is we fill ourselves up. We fill up our cup with the things that we've already been able to do. And we also give ourselves perspective. We give ourselves the opportunity to recognize that our life is not just about the here and now. So if the here and now is a waiting room, if we're in a transitionary period, how we ensure that we don't let ourselves get stuck there, we don't let ourselves feel like we're not going to grow past there, is like recognizing all of the areas or the waiting rooms or the transitionary periods that we were in previously and how we got through those. And that's how I've gotten through some of the hardest moments in my life, by future planning and by giving myself a moment to be grateful and to celebrate those past achievements. And so October for most people is the year where they think about Halloween and costumes, but for me it's my after action review period, where I start to really think about what it is that I'm truly deeply grateful for, what it is that I'm excited about but I haven't put enough attention to, and what it is that I want to build moving forward. How do I want to frame my headspace, my mindset for this upcoming year? And so that's what I've been doing. And so for this past year, a lot of my achievements are more about survival. They're more about the life skills that I've gained. And I want to share a little bit about that with you, because so much of my thinking went around feedback that I received over 10 years ago. I believe I received this feedback in 2013, where I was told that I was so focused on my career that I was leveraging my career to avoid personal development and personal growth, and that all of my growth was very much career-based. It was about skills and competencies that related to the trajectory that I was on career-wise. And it's funny because that is feedback that has stuck with me up until now. And I think about the amount of like exponential growth through pressure and through so many just tough, challenging times that I experienced in the last 5 years. And I haven't given myself the opportunity to like check the fact that, you know what, like the last 5 years have been less about my career, more about personal growth, more about really focalizing on the areas of emotional, intellectual, and mental development that I was neglecting in certain capacities by focusing only on like how I could grow myself in my career and how I could show up ambitiously in my career and how I could show up in my professional and personal spaces, but more adjacent to my career. Because even if I think about like the friendships that I was keeping and I was maintaining, a lot of those friendships were established around the ecosystem that my career was based in. And so I find it interesting how maybe 4 or 5 years ago, there was just this shift where I was starting to put myself in experiences and starting to attract experiences that took my attention completely away from my career and on self. And while that was incredibly uncomfortable, while there is some trauma attached to that shift of focus, for sure, it enabled me to really focus on the areas of growth and development that I feel that I need for the next stages and phases in my life. I think that I am completely just not the person that I was 4 or 5 years ago. And that's because of some of the very intense personal challenges that I've had, the personal experiences that I've had that have really challenged my perspective, challenged my belief system, challenged my worldview, challenged the way that I show up in the world around me. And one of the biggest areas where I feel so grateful is just the inner dialogue, the inner chatter, the noise that was all of the doubt and all of the criticisms and all of the judgments and all of the opinions that other people had that I would carry in my mind with me. That is gone. That is completely gone. And while I keep a needle on the dial a little bit just to make sure that like if I need to come out and level set and have a conversation, we can have that conversation. But I don't feel tormented by the opinions, thoughts, beliefs, and positions of other people. I am at peace with my own trajectory, and that has been a lifelong endeavor. And I didn't really think that that was something that I needed to work on, but it was something the last 4 or 5 years developed in me, right? When you're in extreme situations, you start to really parse away at the things that don't matter. And what didn't matter when I was focused especially on survival were the thoughts, opinions, and beliefs and positions of other people. And I love that how like I'm transitioning back into a steadier state, and that's still true, right? So I think that that's a mental muscle that I had to develop. Like I think a version of me had to like die away for that mental muscle to develop, where I was like, listen, like if I want to push through this challenge, if I want to push through these situations that seem at this point in time insurmountable, like the only voice that matters is mine. Like I need to silence the noise and focus and be highly, highly precise in the way that I navigate moving forward. So the only voice that matters at this point in the stage, in the game is my own. And I think that that was just a freedom that I needed, and a freedom that only hardship, struggle, challenge, and you know, really very tough situations have brought out. So when I think now about my exercise, my after action review, the thing that I have been doing for years since I was a teenager and I was introduced to goal planning in civics class, 10th grade. I'm not sure if any of you had that similar. And it's funny because when they introduced goal planning in the 10th grade, I thought it was fairly ridiculous. I really didn't buy into it initially. initially I was a fairly resistant participant to those exercises, yet it's become so fundamental to my lifestyle now. So I want to give that to you because for me, my well-being has been focalized on the fact that this too shall pass. Whether it's a high or whether it's a low, impermanence is the thread that interweaves all of our experiences. So we have to make sure that the mindset that we carry into each experience, whether it's an experience that challenges us and that forces growth out of us, or whether it's an experience that we love and that we are going to memorialize and we're going to keep as a core memory, that impermanence is what makes the beauty of this life, right? And so that has contributed to my wellness. This after action review is especially important because I think about my state of mind at the beginning of this year and my state of mind now, and even in this short 10-month period of time, just so much exponential growth brought upon by so much challenge and hardship and truths being shared, and just seeing myself in all of it, right? Like really seeing myself show up out of it. It's like you're coming out of this survival state and you're seeing the way that you're navigating, and you see the acumen starting to be developed. Like first you're kind of just scrambling and punching at air, but I think when you do that enough times, your punches become much more focused. There's more strategy, there's more analysis in the way that you navigate, and I definitely recognize that in the way that I move and navigate in the spaces and places that I have found myself in. So I think that is really good piece of personal reflection that I've had, that I've kind of been dwelling on, and I wanted to share that piece of reflection with you. I think while enjoy all the festivities that this month brings, give yourself an opportunity to celebrate yourself this month. Give yourself an opportunity to think on the challenges and the hardships and the things that you have pushed through and the accomplishments that you've achieved that you kind of just dismissed and moved on to the next achievement without really giving yourself an opportunity to celebrate yourself and to kind of be in that moment with yourself, just like being like, hey, like I did that. And I think that is so important because it informs how you're going to show up and all the things that you're going to accomplish and achieve and push through in the future. So that was the conversation I wanted to have with you today. Give you a bit of a rah-rah, some cheerleading, some motivation, and some direction and guidance by way of how you spend some of your time this month, because soon we're going to enter the holiday season. And for me, my favorite holidays is New Year's, which obviously means New Year's resolutions, but for it to be a great opportunity to kickstart 2024, and I know a lot of you are like, this is way too early to be talking about 2024, but it's not. It's only 2.5 months away, actually. So I think that this is a great time to level set, build a great foundation for the next year, build a great foundation for the shift and the pivots that you're hoping or thinking or potentially now thinking about making next year, and then hitting the ground running from there. In any case, that was the topic for today. That was it, but definitely not all. Now, before letting you go, I would be remiss if I didn't let you know that we will be going live at least twice a month, every month for the foreseeable future on our Facebook page. So definitely be sure to tune in. Now, these events are paid events, so if you do see yourself participating in our community on an ongoing basis, then I do suggest that you take a look at one of our package plans. Yes, so we do offer package plans over and above our live events, as well as access to webinars and workshops largely focused on self-mastery over and above those events. So check it out, be part of our game changer community, being part of the change that you want to see, allowing us a small role to play in your journey. We are on the road to 1K, so we do invite you to follow us across all of our social media platforms, and we look forward to chatting with all of you very soon. We'll talk to you later.